Hey, this is Sasha, and by now you've probably realized how important building an email list is. Now in this video, what I want to share with you is the difference, or looking at quantity versus quality of your list. I know that when I first started building my email list, I was always focused on the number of people on my list. And we still obviously look at things at how big they are and how large your size of your list is. But keep in mind that all these numbers that you see on these blogs, on these websites that say, hey, here's our 75,000 subscriber list, or join our 150,000 mailing list subscribers, and you can be one of those people as well. As you see those numbers, you as a business owner, especially as you start looking at competition, start wondering, am I able to achieve those levels? And what is it that I could do to get that far as well? But keep in mind, one of the things that you don't see on websites is the quality of the list. So here we have, let's say, 150,000 people on our newsletter list, but the people that are on it really are not loyal to us. So you usually don't see that right on the website. So looking at your list, it's really important that you also look at the quality behind your list, not just the quantity, but the quality of the people on that list and how likely they are to buy from you. So this goes along the lines of having a cold list, meaning a cold list like cold phone calling, somebody that completely doesn't know you at all. That would be a cold call. And then eventually, as you build an email list, you get into maybe a warm list where people kind of know who you are. And if you make an offer, they may or may not buy. And then you get into a really hot list. And that's where people buy just about anything that you go out and post, create, make, or offer. So looking at those different levels, that's really what's important when looking at the list. It's not just the quantity, but also the quality. And I want to break some things down for you by numbers here on paper, so that way you can really see the impact and difference it can make. And once you transform your mindset to looking at things like this, I think you get rid of those nervousness about building a big list. You just continue to build it, you continue to focus on growth, but building on the quality, because you don't need a ton of people to have a successful year or to make a good income online on your email list. So let's take a look at the numbers. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers here on a list and just compare some of the things. So let's just say you're looking to sell about a $97 product or offer. That's ultimately what you're trying to do in your email list campaign. So if you're looking at a different list and we compare the quantity of people, if you start out with, let's say, 5,000 people, and let's just say this is the list you're admiring, and they're getting a conversion rate, okay, so we'll talk about it as a conversion percentages of, let's just say, a 2% conversion ratio. So this gives you about 100 people that actually will buy from you. Now, from those 100 people, multiply that times the $97, you get a profit from that marketing campaign of about $9,700. Pretty good. As far as the absolute dollar terms in money, that's pretty good. Now, if you look at a smaller size list, and maybe you're just starting out, and it's probably not that big, let's say you're starting out with 700 people. Now, the thing is when you have a more loyal customer base, your conversion rate is going to be much higher. Now, I can't guarantee what it's going to be, but again, throwing some hypothetical numbers around, let's just say that those people really trust you. So you might get a 25% conversion rate. Now, this is a little bit high for the average, but again, it just depends on your demographic and how much, how warm or hot your list is. So we'll just say roughly about 25%, just to show you the concept behind looking at qualities of the list. And from here, you get about, you get 175 people that are loyal or willing to buy. Now, multiply that times $97 on that product, you're getting right around $16,975, which is way higher, obviously, in here. But I could have skewed the numbers. So that's one of the things that, when you look at this and you compare, you see that, okay, the conversion rate is much higher, even though the quantity of the list is a lot lower. Now, for you to be able to get that same even amount with a 700 person list versus a 5,000 person list, you would be doing around 15% conversion, and this would get you roughly 105 people, or actually exactly 105 people. And again, at $97 for that product, you're looking right around 10,000. Let's see, what is it? $185. So you can see that we're very close. If we compare the two numbers right here, we're very close to this level as long as we have right around that 15% conversion rate. Now, one cool thing about this is when you have higher conversions or people that trust you much more, and you have a list of 700 people and you have higher conversions, since they probably trust you much more and they probably have higher value, they probably, they're a hotter list, that price of that product, you could probably actually charge even more. So instead of $97, it could be, let's just say $145. So you might be able to make that product more expensive, and those people, since they're so loyal to you, are willing to pay more for it since they value you that much more. So that could actually drive a lot higher in your revenue, and it might only be that you need 10% conversions. Simply because you'd be able to charge a little bit more as well. So those are things to consider, but keep in mind that when you look at a list right here and you're doing it all the way from a cold list to a hot list or raving fans, you're going to have some people that are just getting started and new with you, then some people that kind of, in the warm area or somewhere in the middle, and then some people that are really, really hot. So your list is going to be a combination of these, but if you have more hot and warm people, and people that are way more willing to buy, then having a smaller list can still be just fine because your conversions will be much higher. So that's why it's ultimately really important you look at the quality of your list, because for some people, if you have a list that's, let's just say, a 20,000 person list, but that list maybe has less than, let's just say on a percentage basis, if you're looking at, let's just say 0.03% conversion rate, you're not going to get a ton of sales or money, and you're not adding a lot of value. You just have a bunch of email addresses that you collected where they're not even targeted. The whole key behind having an email list is having a targeted list, so that way you can add value to these people. And when you add value through products, services, what you're doing, they eventually will purchase those products and services, and you get rewarded financially. That's ultimately how these things and processes work. So keep your eye on the bigger picture, and that is the quantity is not always the best thing that you're looking for. It has to do with a balance between growing your list, but also the quality of the list that you're building, because ultimately you're looking to add value and contribute to those people. And that way, when your conversion rate is higher, you can see how it really matches up quite well. That even having a smaller list, you can be much more beneficial and much more financially rewarding to you if you target the right people. So focus also on the quality, not just the quantity. Now, I just shared with you some examples of how you could do the calculations just for the math's sake, but you could go ahead and do your own calculations, because some of these numbers may not apply specifically to your industry or category, where the open rates are a little bit lighter, or the open rates might be a little bit higher. So play around with these concepts and see what it is that you get. But it'll show you that if you have a smaller list but a higher conversion rate, and you're also able to charge more for your product or service since people are believing in you, so you can give them more value, it allows you to really shift some concepts about thinking about, hey, I need to have a list that's this big or that big. So in either case, I hope that opens up your mind a little bit. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this video and you want to continue learning from me, then go ahead and click this video right here and you'll continue watching. But if you want to sign up to my newsletter list, where I share some exclusive bonus content regarding business and online trainings, then click the link right over here. And when you get there, enter your name and email address and sign up to that newsletter list. Thanks again. In the end, remember, do what you love, contribute to others, but most importantly, live life abundantly. I'll see you next time.